Now, let me get your thoughts on this, because the economy is strong, and that's certainly a message the president tries to tout all of the times. But he continues to make waves with these tariffs, and especially when you put it in the timeline of what we saw this week. On Wednesday, you had the Fed cut. On Thursday, you have the president announcing more tariffs, and now you have the jobs report. What is up with the timing of his announcement coming a day after that rate cut?
You got me. I've long since given up trying to predict what Donald Trump is thinking, but I think there's three serious problems for Trump on the horizon. One is that the economy is strong if you look at these top-line numbers that we've been discussing, but for most people, they're not really feeling it's that strong. There are plenty of jobs, but the jobs don't pay enough to sustain a middle-class life in most places. The second thing is that these tariffs are going to start to hurt American consumers. Trump somehow got out of the Wharton School of Economics not understanding that tariffs are taxes on the people in our country, not on China. And that could really hurt him. And then third, what if this global slowdown that Ron and others have been talking about does happen sometime between now and next summer? That's going to be a serious problem for him going into the fall.
So, Kurt, to that point, is the economy a topic that Democrats want to fight in the upcoming 2020 elections? It did not feature very heavily in the debates over the past couple of weeks among the Democratic candidates. You hear more about health care, you hear more about immigration, not so much about the economy. Even when they do, it's about trade, and then there's some alignment between some of the Democratic candidates and President Trump. What do you think is a good strategy for them going into 2020? Should they make the economy more of a center focus?
Well, I'll say this in kind of a play on words here. If you're not talking about the economy, you're stupid. You know, in the last debate, we had roughly 26,000 words that were said. About 30 of them actually said the words economy or jobs. That's a huge problem for the Democrats. The only candidate I really saw up there talking about the economy and the disconnect really between these good job reports and the real-time effect on real people was Mayor Pete Buttigieg. And I think that there needs to be more of an alignment with the Democrats running for president about highlighting how there is an inequality in this economy right now. If you're one of the elite few who probably benefited from President Trump's tax cuts, yeah, the economy is great for you. If you're the middle class, the working class, and the working poor in this country, the economy is leaving you behind. And if Democrats don't get on board with that message, they're not going to win this election. The economy is the one thing that affects every single person in this country. And they can spend 30 minutes debating the minutia of health care plans that may never come to fruition, or they can spend their time talking about an economy that affects everybody all the time.
I see you shaking your head a little bit. What's your assessment of that?
Well, I think, we have to deconstruct the economy in a wide variety of ways. And the largest reason for inequality at the moment is a skills gap. We have over 7 million open jobs, and we have 6.3 million unemployed. Among the open jobs, 300,000 in cybersecurity that pay well. We have welders who are in short supply, truckers who are in short supply. It may not be a job you necessarily want, but if you're an out-of-work miner and can become a trucker and make between $80,000 and $120,000 a year, probably a trade you want to make if you can, had the president not promised to bring back coal jobs, right? So I tend to disagree with the notion that the economy is weak in ways that some people have described it. Now, the Federal Reserve cut interest rates this week because the global economy is weakening. The uncertainties over trade policies are causing them to take back that December rate hike that caused some tumult in the market. Fed's doing the right thing. It's the president who's not.
So, Eamon, let me get your final thoughts on this. The president announcing more tariffs on China. We saw the markets dive on that news. Is this going to be a long-term drag on our economy if this trade war keeps escalating?
Yeah, Eamon, we just don't know where this is actually going right now. I asked the president yesterday at the White House, why did he go with a 10% tariff rate? Why not 25%? Why not 5%? And what the president said was he's doing this in order to give himself some wiggle room to ratchet up or ratchet down. He said he could go to a tariff rate of more than 25%. And, of course, as your other guest said, that will hit consumer prices. This is the first tranche of these tariffs that's actually going to hit things that people buy as opposed to things that companies buy. That makes a big difference in terms of the politics of all this as well. When average voters start to see price increases, they might say, hey, wait a second, what's going on here?
Of course, and China threatening this morning that it will retaliate as well, so no end in sight. Thank you very much, Eamon Javers, Matt Bennett, Kurt Berdella, and Ron Insana here in studio. Thanks, Ron. Coming up.